All right, so Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be delayed from this year till February 14, 2025. Here's what they said, and it's it's sort of related to what Ubisoft is doing now post this announcement. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us, finally bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind, such as parkour or the renewed stealth. Brought by new technology, all set in a beautiful and immersive world. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that can be lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. But we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experience, pushing further some of our key features. As such, we made the decision to postpone the release date to February 14, 2025. The game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam at launch. Additionally, pre-orders will be refunded, and all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. Okay, that's pretty cool. We understand this decision will come as disappointing news. Okay. And it just sounds like, really, that they're cooking. I know a lot of people are looking at this like, oh, they went woke, they went broke. But from what I know and understand, they're just trying to, like, cook. But what is interesting is the financial side of the game development here, or the financial side of the company, Ubisoft. So Ubisoft's board, actually, earlier, launched an investigation into what the media is calling the company's struggles. It's been announced that Ubisoft's executive committee and board of directors will launch an investigation and review of the company. The news came via a company financial statement and update, which included the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows and the announcement that Star Wars Outlaws underperformed. The statement read, "In light of recent challenges, we acknowledge the need for greater efficiency while delighting players. As a result, beyond the first important short-term actions undertaken, the executive committee, under the supervision of the board of directors, is launching a review aimed at further improving our execution, notably in this player-centric approach, and accelerating our strategic path towards a higher-performing model for the benefit of our stakeholders and shareholders." This whole thing is just for the financial PR end of things. The context is basically Ubisoft stock is kind of falling a bit. It's decreased to 11.42 euros in the last few months. It hasn't really done well. Last month, Insider Gaming reported X-Defiant, which was the free kind of shooter. I also played that, and it was okay. It wasn't like too groundbreaking. Was at risk of losing its much-needed post-launch support after dwindling player numbers and following the release of a mild Star Wars Outlaws launch. Ubisoft's stock price fell to the near 10-year low. Speaking with current and former Ubisoft employees, I am told that the move was inevitable and the writing was on the wall, as many Ubisoft studios have been struggling due to poor management. So, just like the common theme here that we see across the gaming industry or game development industry, a lot of the things that are happening with the layoffs and the studio closures, it's just a lot of it is tied in with the executives or the poor management decisions of those executives, the C-suite. And it's not really, especially for Ubisoft and some of the studios under Microsoft and Sony, it's been pretty bad. It's been pretty bad. I mean, I think Bungie was also one of the latest, unfortunately, that underwent really bad layoffs as well. So this is kind of coming on the heels of that as a wider context. And according to a friend of mine who works in private equity at a high level, some of Ubisoft's shareholders are publicly trying to gather the votes needed to force a sale to private equity, which indicates a serious lack of faith in Ubisoft as a company on the financial side. Earlier this month, in fact, there was an open letter sent by AG Investments, one of Ubisoft's minority shareholders, that has now apparently gathered 10% of Ubisoft's other shareholders in support of some of their proposals. The open letter stated that the current value of Ubisoft stocks are too undervalued, and instead of its current share price should be between 40 to 45 euros per share. The letter, while acknowledging the amazing experience and titles of the game developers in ensuring quality video games, blamed the management and the Guillemot family members who are in executive positions for the fall in share prices. The letter suggests that the current strategic direction under the Guillemot family's leadership has led to repeated delays and missed opportunities, which have resulted in significant financial underperformance, particularly in relation to the 2018 agreement with Tencent acquiring a 5% stake in Ubisoft as part of a partnership agreement, which resulted in a financial and corporate boost for the Guillemot family through their holding company but not for anyone else. The letter accuses the Guillemot family and Tencent of trying to take full control of Ubisoft once share prices go down enough, as they already have a significant portion of shares and voting rights in Ubisoft. Proposals on the open letter include allowing a sale process, specifically taking Ubisoft private with Tencent as a partner and shareholder so that there's less public market pressure and no potential harm to the voting power of the minority shareholders in other parties. Plus, they want to hire. Furthermore, the letter called for the hiring of a new CEO who could restructure and optimize Ubisoft to be more agile and competitive in the current marketplace. The shareholder added that they would use French laws to collect enough shareholders, which, as I've mentioned, they already have as of this week, to try to push for these changes. One of the interesting things called for, apart from changing out the current Ubisoft C-suite and management teams, is for the company to focus resources on the development of its core IPs, such as Rainbow Six Siege, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, and Tom Clancy's titles. Now, we also do have a exclusive internal memo from the CEO of Ubisoft that was sent out to all the staff before the earnings call for the company, okay? And it's got some things that I'm going to point out here for some of you here. It better not be caving to the trolls. Okay, so again, what I mentioned with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm not saying anything, but from my understanding, they just want more time to work on certain things. So they're cooking. They don't want to rush out the game release, which honestly I applaud, because I don't want to see another Assassin's Creed that's like buggy. I don't want to see another AAA game that's just like not ready for being played by millions of people worldwide. I think that's okay. If they need more time for development, I'm all for it. Whatever. This had really nothing to do with this, because this happened after the Assassin's Creed Shadow announcement and the underperformance of Star Wars Outlaws. So let's read the memo here. Dear all, we just issued a press release announcing our revised financial targets for the current fiscal year. First, Star Wars Outlaws' initial sales proved softer than expected, despite solid ratings from players that recognize the game's faithful transcription of the original trilogy's essence and richness. 76 on Metacritic, 3.85 out of 5 on PS Store, 4 out of 5 on Xbox, 4.4 out of 5 on Epic. While players praise the sense of detail and the beauty of the graphics, the effectiveness of the reputation system, and endearing characters like Nyx, some also noted areas of improvement. The development team is already hard at work on this, focusing on save issues, stealth mechanics, more frequent quest checkpoints, and better NPC AI. I'm confident that these updates will significantly improve the player experience by allowing us to deliver on its promise and make Star Wars Outlaws a must-play game and a long-term seller. In parallel, the publishing teams and developers are closely collaborating to increase the engagement with the game and boost player acquisition during Black Friday and the holiday season. In today's ultra-competitive market, players expect extraordinary experiences and ultra-polished games on day one. We need to continue to improve when it comes to fine-tuning our games and delivering outstanding gameplay. You know what's the ironic part about this statement? It's probably these same people telling them to keep pushing out these games, keep rushing these games out so that, they have something good to tell their shareholders. So I find it pretty funny. This is what will enable Ubisoft to again create the best games in the industry. Consequently, we decided to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14, 2025. The game is already playable and of high quality and has all the features the team wanted to integrate into this ambitious experience. This unusual decision at such an advanced stage is motivated by our desire to offer an optimal experience from launch on all platforms and various PC configurations, and to remove the small frictions we typically use to address in post-launch title updates. We'll also use that extra time to complement the experience with a few high-impact secondary quests that will bring even more memorable moments. It just sounds like to me that the developer team was just saying they want more time, and the financial side of the companies was like, okay, we'll give you more time, but we're going to spin this way. Additionally, as a result of listening to player feedback on other topics, our new releases, starting with Assassin's Creed Shadows, will again be available on Steam on launch day, in addition to being available on first parties, Epic's, and Ubisoft stores. Okay. Also, we are currently rethinking our season pass model for upcoming games, which is, this is a thing I kept pointing out in my videos about Assassin's Creed Shadows, or just Ubisoft in general. A lot of people were unnecessarily focused on Yasuke, who is rather controversial in the gaming space because a lot of people think he's like a DEI insert or woke insert into the game setting. But I'm just thinking to myself, if you're actually a gamer, I feel like the more concerning thing here is not the story you don't know anything about yet, or how they're using the character yet, but the monetization of the game, how good the gameplay is going to be, how how good or bad it feels really to play, especially given Assassin's Creed Mirage, and some of the other recent Ubisoft titles, right? Like the infamous quadruple A game. I don't even remember the name, dude. That's how bad that was, right? So, I'm glad that they're addressing the season pass model for Assassin's Creed Shadows and their other upcoming games. All players will have access to the game at the same time. Yes, this is horrific news. And those who have pre-ordered the game will get the first expansion for free. Great. Beyond the first important short-term actions I've outlined above, the company's top management will focus on accelerating the improvement of our production, communication, and publishing practices and processes in close collaboration with all these teams with the objective to put players at the heart of all our decisions. Okay. Lastly, I'd like to address the recent polarized coverage around our creative choices. Okay, we are an entertainment company. As such, our objective is not to endorse any specific agenda. Our mission has always been to entertain players and enrich their lives with original and memorable experiences that resonate with a global audience. This setback should not discourage us, but serve as a learning experience and drive us to act even more quickly. So this is, again, this is referring to the whole hubbub over Yasuke. Oh my god, black samurais can't exist, or some shit like that. And it's just really, most of the space right there is a lot to do with grifting. There's a lot of grifters, dude. It's crazy. I saw people saying Space Marine 2 is going to be woke, and then when it comes out and successful, oh, it's not woke actually. It's actually anti-woke. Then I see people look at Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, and when they were seeing that shit for the first time, I saw the live reactions to that. They were like, oh my god, game of the year. But then, wait, protagonist is a woman? Nah, the game's woke. Woke, dude. I think the CEO is mentioning this here because, well, they gotta do what's best for the shareholders. They gotta do what's best for, keeping opinions around Ubisoft stable and positive for their stocks. That's really, that's like, I think this kind of like cave in to the trolls and the grifters is a little bit unfortunate, and it might kind of dampen morale of the development teams, but potentially, I hope not. But if people are falling for grifters and just these like claims that games are going woke all of a sudden, or that everything is woke now, it's just unfortunate. Some are pissed they can't play as a male. Okay, why weren't people pissed when Lara Croft or Metroid or like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I think also some of these grifters don't know the lore of some of the games they're playing as well. It's also amusing to see the reactions to Ghost of Yotei, because in the first game you meet Lady Adachi, and she's badass and everyone loves her. But now the woman's the protagonist. Sorry, the protagonist is the woman in the second game, and everyone's just like, no, I need to play a male. I'm like, okay, brother. Oh, man. Because her name was Lara? Yeah. Listen, like, I think there are far more serious concerns for me as a gamer than the sex of a protagonist or whatever, really. Especially in the current environment with monetization. It's just crazy.